Thank you very much for offering me the opportunity to give you the first glimpse into the national dialogue on human germline modification that we will start in the Netherlands. My name is Marc van Mil. I'm one of the ambassadors of this dialogue, and I work on biomedical education, so I teach my students about CRISPR-Cas, but I also put a lot of effort in reaching out to general public to facilitate dialogue in society, and also to help my students to take that role in the future as future scientists. It was in March this year that the dialogue was announced in the national news. I will show you a small fragment. It's in Dutch, but it gives you an impression.
De consequentie van genetische modificatie bij de mens. Het is nog lang niet zover, maar de discussie over knutselen met DNA krijgt vanavond een nieuwe impuls.
Ik denk echt iedereen moet meepraten. Ik denk dat je mensen nodig hebt om het te duiden, dus een beetje uitleggen waar het om gaat en ook de zin en onzin van elkaar scheiden. Maar daarna gaat het over wat is voor jou belangrijk.
So they asked me to give a lesson in one of our high schools, and they filmed this, and in the item you can see students discussing and also voting which applications they thought would be relevant or could be introduced. And actually this is kind of what we are aiming at in this national dialogue. The project was actually initiated by a consortium of academic and societal partners and patient organizations, and it's financed by the Ministry of Health in the Netherlands. And at the moment we are actually still working behind the scenes. This is, here you see us working on creating the scenarios that we will use to tell stories to people in the rooms that we will organize. Actually, at the heart of this project are dialogue meetings all over the country in all different places with very broad audiences, and I will give you some examples of what we will organize and where we will organize this. But to get there, first we need scenarios as a tool to start the thinking and talking about what we want to share about germline modifications. So a technical moral scenario, as it is called, is actually meant as a prediction of the future. It's not meant as a prediction of the future, but it's an exploration of possible futures. So there will be multiple scenarios, and we will make short video clips that kind of shape these into realistic stories, narratives that people can relate to. And this will help participants to use their imagination to empathize with people in these future situations. And of course, we want to explore possible moral and societal consequences of the technology by using these scenarios. And this is work that's done by the Wageningen Institute. Sophie and Jeroen, mentioning on this slide, are currently working very hard on this. So then, what will such a dialogue meeting look like? I promised you a few examples, and one of the things that we are going to do is we will be at the huishoudbeurs. For non-Dutch speaking people, this is, you could literally say, the household fair. It's where thousands of people, mainly women actually, go every year to learn about the latest technologies in vacuum cleaning or cooking or gardening. Actually, I wanted to show you a glimpse of the website because there are very interesting discussion topics. One of the topics is how to get rid of the fruit flies in your kitchen. Go to the website, you can learn about it. I checked it, CRISPR-Cas is not mentioned. So we may offer some ideas. Another one, actually is right next to this one, is the so-called 9-maandenbeurs. The 9-month fair, and you can imagine there are people who, women who are pregnant or couples who are thinking of getting babies. And actually what you see here is typically Dutch exercise, woman trying to ride a bakfiets. Bakfiets is a very good thing if you have children because you can put 4 children in one bike. You can practice in this fair. So imagine that we will try to invite people or maybe seduce people to come to us and in a room and discuss human germline editing or embryo selection or maybe designer babies, and we have to think carefully about the language and how to do this, but we can use your input as well. Actually, we did one of the table discussions here, and that was very inspiring. It's not only about talking, it's also about art, and Louise Fresco already mentioned you should include artists, and we did actually. This is Oerol Festival last week, and I want to end with this quote, because there was one of the reviewers who said, with this exciting show, the futurists, these are the artists, prove what the added value is when not only scientists talk about hot issues like CRISPR-Cas, but also artists let their imagination run free. Keep an eye on our website, dnadialoog.nl, and these are all the consortium partners involved, and I hope to inspire you with this, and if you have any input, please join us in thinking along. Thank you very much.